Good morning. My name is Mark Brunton. I'm the Operations Section Chief for CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 3, and I'll be doing the operational briefing for August 21st of the Dixie incident. So again, in the Butte sector, that's just a patrol status. Butte unit is handling that, and nothing new to report there. Our Westwood sector that runs through the middle of our fire, the western part of it is still looking very good, mop-up phase, and nothing really to report there. West Branch, in the Lake Branch, the western shore is in the process and still being repopulated. We've had a few calls for service, nothing too bad. So it's looking very good there, and getting back to some normalcy on that west shore. East shore, the peninsula, Hamilton Branch, and Westwood, nothing really to report there. That's still looking good. The Highway 36 burn operation was done a few days ago, is really solid. We've done some infrared flights within that, looking for any heat signatures, and it's very well buffered. So it gives a very good level of protection. The only heat is very well interior, which is expected with these heavy fuels. So that's looking very solid to give a very good level of protection and shut the door for any fire to move to the south. From the south of those communities, the Dyer Mountain, we had that slop over a couple days ago. That's actively and heavily being mopped up by our resources as well as resources from the East Zone, since that actually sits right in the East Zone. And we're continually working on that, mopping that up and getting that secured so that we don't have any push from the south. Today, concern is going to be our southwest winds that we're going to experience today. It's going to be challenging all of our lines that will be exposed to that wind. And so that is one area that we're going to be watched very closely because of that southwest wind push. And I'll talk more about that, the winds here shortly. Moving over to our Dixie Group, a lot of work being put in there, line being put direct on the fire line. And we have a lot of contingency lines within that. We had our firing operation that went between drop point 276 back towards Willard Road, and that's all solidified. That's been mopped up over the past couple days, giving us a very solid line so we don't have any incursion of fire to the north into our clear branch. And then down here in the Duffy, again, by going direct, that's giving us a lot of opportunity to eliminate having to do any firing here because we were concerned a couple days ago with the wind coming that we didn't want to put any heat in this, put it into an exposed area that potentially could push. So we didn't want to do that. We found opportunities to go in direct and directly in there and put in our lines and put contingency in place. So that's near Hamilton Mountain. A few little pockets in there with some heat, but we're actively working those and heavily working those. So we should be able to hold that and all the way down to the meadow. So that'll seal up any potential move into Westwood. Our Susanville branch, you see this little tip of the fire here. And again, with some of these, with the red it shows on the map, these are not flaming fronts. These are not huge pushes of fire. As you can see, if you've been watching the past few days, this hasn't moved at all. Basically what it is it's in a heavy mop-up phase. There are some hot spots within there. We have a lot of contingency lines surrounding it, not only primary, but contingency beyond that, and directly on the fire line, both hand line and dozer line. And the reason that eventually we will turn that black on that line is we want to make sure it gets to the point where it's completely cold, completely out. So wherever you see some of this red line and you've been hearing there's a lot of work being done there, it's because they're in that mop-up phase. And within a short period of time, you're going to see where this is going to be completely black. And so as far as a threat to the community of Susanville, very, very, very limited threat on that. We have so many lines in here to help catch any fire or spots that may come out. But we are overly cautious, and the reason we're overly cautious is because of the fuel conditions we've been seeing and the spotting that we've been seeing, even in areas we've been mopping up. So we're being very conservative with that. Janesville, the Janesville branch, we put a lot of heavy work in there. We've got a very good solid line that goes from the escarpment down to 395 that's been placed in. Large dozer line, it's been plumbed with hose and they've been mopping that up heavily. We've been reinforcing that with our air tanker drops. And so that's got a very solid line around it. Up at the very top of the escarpment, been a hot spot that has been a bit challenging for us. However, we've been working that very heavily with our resources so that we can maintain, keeping that in check. But that's got a pretty good solid line across it. We also have a line across the top of the escarpment not only a shaded fuel break, but a very, very, very large and wide control line. Some of our direction was to our personnel there is we want a line that's so wide that you could land a 747 on it. And it may seem extreme, but that is going to give us a level of protection for that community from any fire coming over the top of the escarpment. So we've got a good box to prevent any spread of fire within the Janesville proper. So we're going to do all we can as far as protecting that, especially with these winds that are going to be challenging the fire line there. Moving down on the other side of the escarpment, now we're into the working closely with the east zone, and we've put in line all the way down to the Antelope Reservoir, working with our partners in the east, and we're working on solidifying that line. Little spot fire that's over here, it's been rung, it's been mopped up, so that should be no factor. But this line is going to be something that we're going to watch today, especially with the wind challenging it, to hold it. If by chance it does skirt out, again, we have this very solid line up top to stop it, and some other opportunities down here on the motorway to basically pick that up. So anytime we have a line, we always try to put a contingency or secondary line in, and we've done that so that if it does squirt out, that we have another area to catch it, and then even a third area to catch it. So gives us confidence in that suppression activity. To the south, this again is that zone line. So this is predominantly being handled by the east zone. We've been assisting them with resources in there. They were hammering that with retardant yesterday, giving it a good buffer. They've got some good dozer line around it to prevent any spread towards Milford. And so again, we've been assisting them with some resources to help them. It's been a collaborative effort to put in that line as well there, as well as our line in the division Papa, which is east zone. So again, good work, hard work there, and we're ready for the challenge that the wind's going to present to us today in that community. Fortunately, in the coming days, after we get through this wind event, the weather's going to calm for about 3 or 4 days, and that's really going to allow us to get some really good work in and achieve our objectives. Now moving into our Lassen sector, north of 36. This area, in this Branch 9 area, we've got Childs Meadows, we've got the Mill Creek Plateau. That's looking really good. This finger of fire, we've put in direct line, we've put in secondary line. We have secondary line coming down from the top from our Branch 13 to solidify this from Highway 89, which is holding solid. And then we have another line working around the bottom, in the hole in the ground area. So these lines are connecting, giving us a good catcher's mitt, if you will, if anything were to come out. And then we have a third line being put in the Mill Creek drainage itself. So a lot of good work there, and they're in there heavily mopping that up. And with the wind, it'll actually push against itself. So that'll be helpful for us in that area. But that's looking really good, and we're putting a lot of resources in there to keep that in check. Into the park highway is holding really well for us. A lot of the other lines that are being put in here and there throughout the park, taking advantage of trail systems and just topography, rocky escarpments. Basically, that's connecting the dots there, and that's doing well. We're not really seeing any push of any fire within the park. Outside the park, we have our division Quebec, where we have dozer line all the way up to the park and then hand line down to dry lake bed. They started a firing operation last night, able to get it down around the corner, and then had to hold it up just due to the conditions. And we want to hold that through this wind event that's going to push. And then once we're past that, we're going to continue the firing operation. That's going to be about a 3 or 4 day operation to conduct that firing operation. So we have a very good plan in place and to conduct that, where we have what we call check lines. So we'll take it from one check line to the next check line, stop the firing operation until the conditions are right the following day or so, then continue on that operation all the way around. We've been conducting those at night when the conditions are most favorable, and to support that operation, not only there, but also in our other areas, we've been using some unmanned drones that have been very good. They have the infrared capabilities, so at night and through the heat and through the smoke, they can pick up any sort of heat signatures or spot fires that may be outside the line, and that's been very beneficial for us so that we can jump on those spot fires, take care of them, and we've been using that resource for a number of days with a lot of success. It's picked up a lot of spot fires that have been created by the fire, and we've been able to jump on those right away, keeping them real small. So that's been an excellent tool that we've been utilizing quite a bit. And then last night we had an actual aircraft that did the same thing. So we had some double redundancy regarding our reconnaissance assets for infrared. Moving down into the Romeo and Tango area, that's mopped up really nice, really good. One little slop over spot that we were able to capture in Romeo, got it small, it was detected early, and so again, they're just a testament to how dry these fuels are and the heat that is carried within these heavy fuels. So we're very vigilant there and taking care of that. Down to the uniform, again, that's looking really good, and we're not having any sort of issues there, and that's mopping up very nicely. The weather has been such that with the clear air, we've been able to fly aircraft quite a bit. Yesterday, we were unable to fly our fixed wing. It just was too smoky. However, we were able to use our rotary, or helicopters, if you will, to assist our troops on the ground. The area that we had clear air that the East Zone had down in the Janesville area, Milford area, they were able to fly the fixed wing, so that was good because they got a lot of good work done down there to buffer their lines. So whenever we have opportunities of clear air, we're flying our aircraft, which is another really good tool that we have in our toolbox, and to support our people on the ground, support our mission overall, and achieve our priorities. Thank you.